Good morning, coaches, or good afternoon, whenever you are listening to this. I want you to hop on over to rachelafeldman.com, listen to the episode on the Healthy Hustle podcast where I talked about going live even when you're scared. We are launching this entire series called Back to the Basics. I find that so many coaches are struggling with time. And this is something that I know oh so very well because I built my business with two little kids. Max and Sammy were under the age of 4 when I graduated from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. So in today's episode, what we are going to dive into really fast, because what I want you to understand is you have to be efficient when you are doing your social media, building your business. Sitting in the overwhelm of I don't know what to talk about is not only going to bleed you dry of the energy that you need to show up, but it's also going to make you think that it always has to be perfect or going to feel extremely overwhelmed, and then you're not going to do it. And the one thing that I realized very early on is if it's not doable, if I can't get it done in 1 hour in the morning, I am in trouble. So let me just show you. I'm going to take you step by step and show you exactly how easy you can make this. So a lot of coaches struggle with content ideas. I hear constantly, Rachel, I don't know what to say. I don't know what should be my blog topic. I don't know what I should write in my newsletter. I don't know what I should talk about in my stories. I don't even know what should be on my Facebook post. And all of that I don't know leads, like I said, to a lot of frustration, a lot of anxiety, and then really taking away from what we need to do. We need to let go of perfection. We need to have these topics where we test our market. We're really looking for what does our ideal client engage with us the most. There's a woman in my membership who just posted yesterday because we are doing this exercise, which we always have to do. And she took a poll and said, wow, I specialize in anti-aging, but what's crazy is they wanted to hear these other topics. And so I want you to see how easy this can be to not only have your live topics, but also, of course, have your social media. Let me give you an example. Right now, we're looking at Mindset Makeover. It's one of my favorite programs. It can work for so many different niches because clearly mindset is important. What I want you to see right here is you have, of course, your session guides, which you can always bring information from, but you also have 6 handouts. You might be saying, well, why would I do this as a live? Because guess what, guys? People are only going to hire you when they understand what that transformation looks like. You and I know what transformation looks like, but we really need to show them. So keep in mind, 6 handouts. I'm also going to take a note of 2 different freebies: toxic belief that lead to weight gain. And then I'm going to look at this other freebie: change your mindset in 5 days. That doesn't even cover the workshops that we have, let alone 15 newsletters. We're just right now clocking what we can actually use. 40 blogs. There, I'm golden. Right now, I'm going to go right to the next step. I'm going to look at this business folder and I'm going to say, for the next 7 days, because for a lot of us, it can feel extremely overwhelming to plan the whole month. Content creators and content marketing specialists love a 30-day plan. What I would say is for a lot of us, for a lot of heart-based entrepreneurs, it can feel extremely overwhelming. So I want to simplify it. Number 1, you're going to go right into the business folder. So the benefit of buying the niche specific programs is they're going to have content that supports the different problems that your ideal client is having, and also content that all relates to that topic. So I'm just going to go right in to my blogs. We're going to look at newsletters on another day, so we can make this super easy. I'm going to go through and I'm going to say, okay, all of these, sorry, let me see if I can see this, not in a list, but in a grid. I'm going to go through each one of these. Okay, gluten-free solution. Do I want to talk about mindset and gluten? Maybe food and mood, possible topic. Then I'm going to look at this next one. Super cleansing ingredients for your body. Great one because a lot of people are coming off of, a stressful year. Truth is, people have stressful 24 hours all the time. So I'm going to take a look at the next one. I want to find one that really ways to stay content with money in your pocket, still focusing on true living. I like that, but it's not the one that I really want to talk about. So of course, I'm going to go through each one of these. A sound mind and a sound body. I love this. Understand the triad exercise with the heart, get in touch with your mind and body. Let me see one more. Live boldly and blossom on your mind. Home run. So right now I'm going to sit there and take this one live. I'm going to say, I'm going to schedule an event on Facebook. That's the platform that I find I have the most interaction and the easiest conversations and engagement. You might find that Instagram or TikTok or YouTube really works for you, even Clubhouse. But for the purpose of this, we want to think of places where we can go live. Always keep in mind that you can go live right from your phone. It doesn't require any platform where you're streaming. But my favorite streaming platforms, of course, on a cheaper option is StreamYard, and on a more expensive option is Zoom with the webinar feature. For this purpose, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to download this. I'm going to give myself 5 minutes to do a scroll through this. Download, take a look. Then I'm going to, step number 2, make an event on Facebook. So I'm going to take this blog and I might even rename it, like how 4 ways to live boldly, 4 ways to access your dreams, or 4 ways to overcome stress. I'm going to think about these possible story ideas, maybe like 3 ways, 5 ways, 7 ways, 1 way. I mean, I think people just, pure psychology is that we like a little roadmap. So I may just nourish that, or 4 ways to live boldly and blossom on your mind. If you're not great at making those titles, don't even worry about it, because if you sit in that perfection, you're not going to get anywhere. And then secondly is that takes practice. So you're not going to just know it in the beginning how to. You have to actually practice, or you can go and, of course, do some market research, see what are some story ideas or titles of trending YouTube videos. You can study, of course, your different competitors, 5 different competitors, and see how they are messaging stress, mindset, etc. And I would say it's always great to look at people like Tony Robbins, Gabby Bernstein, Danielle Laporte, Louise Hay, or any of your favorites that really inspire you. Download this. Of course, take a little of the copy. And that means emotional trauma is part of life. You can, of course, say, meet me on my Facebook business page, or meet me in my group, and actually have a link directly to your group. So we are building even without automation, which is really important. Make that event on your personal, make it on your Facebook business page, and go to Canva and just simply make a quick banner that says, meet me on X date at X time. Now I'm going to then decide what I'm going to talk about leading up to either that live or even after that live. Because remember, and I talked about this in the last few days with a few clients who bought from us, is people don't just opt in. People don't just see us once and you have that know, like, and trust factor built. You don't just have a know, like, and trust factor built because you've done a Facebook ad, or you did a challenge, or you've got this amazing freebie. The know, like, and trust is built because we keep nourishing that story. So my theme this week is clearly, how do we live and blossom, like despite stress? And I'm going to, of course, relate this to my ideal client, which had food allergies, stress, chronic anxiety, analysis paralysis, environmental toxins, gut issues, autoimmune skin rashes, and kids with a lot of need for early intervention with massive, intense leaky gut. So now think about your ideal client. What are their top 3 biggest problems? And what is the mini solution that you're providing? The blog, the live is the mini solution. But how do we tell that story in between so we don't get lost in creating content and feeling overwhelmed? I'm going to go right to this freebie. I'm going to pull up stories from this 20-page freebie. And I'm going to talk about the toxic beliefs. I don't even have to go any further past even this table of content. Talking about the past and the old stories. Talking about rewiring mindset. Talking about, being in the now. And how did I maybe struggle with not being in the now? Or how does not being in the now affect my ideal client? I want you to really think when you're planning out your social media, I want you to go right into a freebie and pull out 7 days of content. My trick, because I know how overwhelming it can be. And if you are a person that tends to feel like massively overwhelmed with writing this all out in an Excel spreadsheet, I want you to get a whiteboard and I want you to do sticky notes. Sticky notes are my favorite because the cool thing is, see, even just this, you have one board that you can use and all of a sudden you have 7 days visually. Easy, less overwhelming. You can, of course, also have, if you have a computer, you can put your little 7 days right there. And as you're going through each day and you see some of the questions that people are asking under your social media post, or maybe an IGTV, or, a video that you've done, social media, and all these other places where you're showing up, you can actually start to infuse it and take little notes like, oh, on the next day, I want to talk about this, or I'm going to change out day 3 because I've gotten so much engagement and so many questions and personal messages that I actually want to address this in a live. And then all of a sudden, guess what happens? You start to see the excitement in what a live means, because a live is really an opportunity for you to address directly the questions that your ideal client had, because you were really nourishing this story and you stayed focused that week on the actual live. So I'm going to write down the 7 that I want to actually speak about. I don't even have to talk about weight if I don't want. And the cool thing about this is if you didn't specialize or talk or even focus on weight at all, I could say food, exercise, and hormones with one small change of a word. I could say food, exercise, and chakras. Food, exercise, and go through and actually just add in these few key elements that separate you from everyone else. I mean, there's so much information here. If you don't even use this freebie, maybe you have your signature freebies mapped out. This, you can just copy and paste it into a social media template. But for today's purpose, I want you to think, would it be this easy to actually map out your social media and use one blog, one freebie? The answer is yes. The great thing also is that in doing this, in highlighting the freebie, guess what you're really doing? You're starting to set the stage of them being able on the next week. Hold your horses, no joke, because this is the mind blower. On the next week, guess what you're actually going to release? That freebie. Because then on the next week, your live is all going to be about how really talking about being present in the moment is so important, and that you took time to work on this guide so that your ideal client would never not have the information from you that they need. And so by taking the content succinctly, making it easier on yourself, you're then even setting the stage for them what? Wanting to actually opt in. And for those of you who are getting stuck in automation, maybe you didn't know. I didn't know how to do automation. Couldn't even figure it out until I hired a virtual assistant, which wasn't until year 3.5. But I would say to people, meet me in this group. I'm going to upload this gift. If you make your group this place that people want to be, then you're not doing what everyone else does, just sharing a blog, just coming in and sharing a tidbit for the day. Imagine this. You're really busy, which you are. And you're part of this group, which I know you're putting value in there, but are you really solving the exact problem and taking them through a journey? That journey is you doing that live. That next journey is nourishing them each day on this next step. For those of you who even want to go in and do breathing, maybe you swap out a day 5 and you're like, guys, this week we've talked all about keeping centered. I want to show you a little about how not being in the present moment affects me. When I'm not in the present moment, I struggle with 1, 2, 3. And so this is today's tool. What we are doing by really just going into the content and using that is we're able to stay really focused. And I know for a lot of you guys, it's hard to stay focused when you're building your business because there's so much noise and we often feel like maybe we're not on track or maybe we're not saying the right thing. And so we abandon the plan. Don't abandon it, refine it and remassage it. Too often we are not taking that person, that ideal client through this story. So they don't opt in anyway. But if we consistently use a freebie in there, a freebie that would take so much time to write, and maybe you're not even using it as your 3 signature free offers that solve that exact problem and lead them to what? Your paid offer. Freebies can be for this kind of, perfect example. It saves you time. So then in 1 hour a day, you'll get it done. I know this works because this is exactly what I did while Sammy and Max were drinking babas, on the couch in the morning. I'm going to close with this, is that in the beginning, and truth is, no matter where you are at whatever growth stage, because when you're in a growth and scale, you're really looking at time efficiency. You're really looking at creating a duplicatable process, a rinse and repeat process. One that also is easy for you to do, even if you have team members. One that has to be simple and duplicatable. This is a duplicatable process that works for the solo entrepreneur, and it also works as you're building a team and you're outsourcing. Because when you have a process that works, guess what? You're going to minimize the mistakes of a virtual assistant. 2, you're actually going to know the process that you need to task to that virtual assistant. That is one of the biggest problems that I see when we hire somebody. We don't actually know what to task. We think they're going to tell us the plan. That's not always the case. So let me recap what you can do. You're going to take that blog, make that alive. We talked about creating the event on Facebook, free. We talked about Canva. If you don't have the pro version, it's $12.95. Get the free version. It's very easy. If you have any of our templates, guess what? You don't have to sit around and make design look pretty. Then you're going to take that same live that you did. You're going to download that on another day. That can become a video on multiple different platforms. We're going to talk about that in another training specifically. The same video can also be on your blog. You did the live. Why not make it really work for you? Why not repurpose it? That blog that you did the live speaking about, you're going to actually put that on a blog on another day. You're going to pull the video that you have uploaded in YouTube, and you're going to make that so it's a vlog. It has a video and it has the blog. Then what are you going to do? You're going to share, share, share. And you're going to constantly drive people back to that amazing high value page, which really is like a mini sales page. At the bottom of your blog, you're going to put a call to action. Hey, want to jump on a discovery call and talk about how mindset is affecting you in the following ways? Get specific. Speak to that ideal client. Don't just say a discovery call, hop on a call, let's talk about your health. Get down and dirty. Don't make the mistake I made in the first 2 years. Furthermore, if you do have something in automation and you know that it's that heavy hitter free offer that you have on the front of your site, whether you have Wix, Squarespace, you don't need to have a custom designed website to stand out. You need to have content that you are what? Able to use, a duplicatable process. And when you've really nailed it down, great, get a custom site. If you have a custom site, guess what? This is just upping your engagement and your possibility for what? Conversion, which really is about making money and changing lives, making money and changing lives, making money. At the end of that blog, you can not only say, hey, PS, jump on a call with me, get specific, because you know your client's top 3 problems. Get specific, get on a call so we can cover 1, 2, 3, 4. Under that, you can be like, PPS, if you love this, grab this. And that this is your signature freebie. 1 of 3. I'm a huge believer that we can't just depend and put all our eggs in one basket. We, of course, test with different freebies. But again, they don't all need to be on an opt-in page. You need a form. Or you also just need your mouth. And your mouth gets to say when you're on a live, hey, you know what? I've got this free gift. Hit me up in a personal message, DM me, or drop a comment saying, please give me the gift. Now let's take a deep breath. This is how simple it can be. What I want you to think about, of course, is the beginning part of this. What's the social media to support your live? We will dive into what days you can actually schedule each of these assets to be done. And last means when you're thinking about planning, when am I going to do the blog? When am I going to do a freebie? Maybe you don't have 1 hour in a day and you actually want to dedicate 3 hours to have your whole week planned out. Awesome. Figure out what works the best for you and your personality and your style of working. And lastly, let's just close it down and tell you how simple it can be, because this is exactly what I did in the beginning of Rachel's Wellness with a crappy website, is that the same blog, you can turn it into newsletter. Or if you have that package or a newsletter package, if you have the Mindset Makeover, which includes newsletters or a newsletter package, you can, of course, send a newsletter on the same theme, or you can take that blog and add in a little more personal story, speak to your newsletter list in a different voice because they're already on your list. So really speak to them about the core problems that you know they have signed up with you to hear more about. You are the solution. Don't overthink the process. Don't think that you need fancy platforms to do this. Everything I just told you is on free platforms. And guys, I think I even wrote a Forbes article on how to use free tools to build your wellness business. So guys, trust me, I'm telling you from experience, 10 years into this business, team members, hundreds of launches for myself and my clients, and simplicity wins the race. So guys, if you love this, drop love below. And if you think that somebody would benefit, tag them and hit me up on a personal message or a direct message, because I'm sure I have a gift for you. All right, guys, I will see you later. You got this. Deep, deep breaths. Peace out. I will see you on the flip side. Bye, guys.